Hi there, today we're just doing a simple job which is polishing some Harley Davidson Sportster aluminium parts. So let's take a look at them. Typical aluminium casings, as you can see they're well past the point where you'd be able to polish them up by hand using metal polishes and the like. They're now needing a professional polish. After that they'll be much easier to maintain. As usual, the first thing we do is list it all out and book the job in. We then take a photo of the parts, and after that is printed out, we put it with the job and it follows it around the workshop. As these parts came in oily and greasy, before we can even get near to starting to polish them, we need to remove that oil and grease. As they're not being plated, it's not quite as imperative to remove 100%, but we've got to get rid of 95 at least, so we're not smearing the job with oil as we're trying to polish it. Now we're into the polishing shop. We're starting to get to the real meat and potatoes of this job. So we're starting off with a 320 grit abrasive belt. Now it's a case we've got to get all the way around it using abrasives to remove the corrosion marks. So that's what's happening here. Because this abrasive belt is a little bit on the large size for some of these intricate bits, we're just going to get to all the bits we can. There's some of the other parts being polished up from the job. Working our way around it with the abrasives. Now a lot of these recessed parts on this casing we can't actually get to with that particular tool. Now you could actually do this by hand using abrasives. It would just take a very long time. Obviously with these machines it's speeding the process up by 100 or so times. If you like what we do, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, and if you hit the notification bell you'll be informed when we release a new video. Now this first polishing operation we term bottoming out or cutting out, because the idea is to cut to the depth of the deepest marks, to cut out the corrosion and the damage and the marks and the scrapes and the little dinks and little gouges that have been taken out of it over time. Now we've changed to a different tool. The reason for this is so that we can get into more difficult areas. Now this is much more flexible, so we can get into those areas. This is what's called a single section mop. Now these are just polishing mops that have been dressed up with abrasives so that we can use them to get marks out. And those tools we have to dress up ourselves, and if you don't know what you're doing you can strip the abrasive off them tools in under 10 seconds. If you do know what you're doing, they still need dressing up regularly. That's a bit of grease being put on, because with aluminium you need to lubricate the abrasives. So after doing all the initial highlights and all the bits we can get to, more grease, it's a case of getting round it with various different tools dressed up with abrasives. We need to bring it sort of all forward together at the same rate. Just cleaning up inside those bolt recesses. Sometimes you need a whole array of tools to attack things. Some of these areas we're going at with a DA sander. If you like what we do, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you'll be informed when we release a new video. Now we're switching tools to a sisal brush. Now, using this brush and some polishing compound that is just applied there, we're going to brush out the abrasive marks that we've got left in. As before, just a case of methodically working round the workpiece, making sure you don't miss any areas. These guys make it look really easy, but I can assure you this is not as easy as it looks. I once calculated that the speed on the face of that brush is about 90 miles an hour. So you don't want to get yourself caught in it or any of the work that you've got in your hands. So this is brushing the main casing. Now on this side we've changed tools again and we've moved on to a mop. This is quite an aggressive mop called an airflow, which works really well. But we need to now mop out those brush marks. This particular type of mop isn't for an amateur because they're very, very grabby and try to snatch the item out your hand. This is the very last but one polishing operation. By this time nearly all the work's been done. Now we're on to the very last polishing operation. This is what we call colouring up, and we go over it all with a soft mop, and this mainly just leaves all the polishing marks moving in one direction as much as possible, which makes it look far better than having them going in every which way. There we are, finished. Now that the polishing's all finished, all we've got to do is wrap it up, ready for the customer. And there we go, all polished, ready for the customer. Just to remind you what it looked like when it came in, and then the transformation that we've got now.